everybody, welcome back to another video for Spiegel Mama Scraps. This week we are scrap lifting our guest designers, and you saw the layout at the beginning of my video that I chose to scrap lift. We have two amazing guest designers this month, Kira Ness and Brianna Lepper. I chose the watercolor, beautiful, punched out layout at the beginning from Brianna. And what I have here is a piece of watercolor cardstock, and I am going to be using a whole bunch of shimmers that I got out of the shop to create this entire sheet of watercolor paper. I am using different mists that I am spraying onto the paper. I'm going to be painting them onto the paper. What I'm doing right now to start is using a paintbrush to apply some of the mist onto the paper after I used my distress sprayer to thoroughly wet this piece of watercolor cardstock, and it just really helps the color spread. You can see I'm dropping it in and I'm just dabbing it around a little bit and it's spreading everywhere. And I really love the way that this whole entire sheet of paper turned out, and it was really hard to cut and punch into when it was all dry and done, but I love the end result of this layout and the inspiration was gorgeous. So I was really excited to play around with this technique. Brianna does a lot of gorgeous, gorgeous Shimmerz work. So this layout was a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm a little intimidated, but I just was inspired and dove in, and I'm so glad that I did. So I'm going to continue to go ahead and spray down the watercolor cardstock, apply some mists. As you can see here, this is the finished piece, and it's got some gorgeous yellows, some beautiful greens, all of which will be linked in my description box below in the shop. And don't forget to use my coupon code, which will also be down in the description box. I splattered, I sprayed directly on this paper, I watercolored with it, and now it is time to punch it out using a whole bunch of different shapes from my stash. I did some scallop circles, I did some straight edge circles, as well as some hydrangea punches, some butterflies, and I just love the way all the pieces came out. What I'm showing you here is a sunflower cut file that I had on my computer that I never actually used, and I decided to just cut it out probably 4 times using varying colors of cardstock, and I just pieced it all together to create this one beautiful large sunflower, which I filled with the gorgeous sequin mix, which you see in the center. To create the background of my entire layout, I sprayed some Jenny B Blue Mist all over my piece of white American Crafts cardstock, and that will be sort of like the sky of my page. I didn't want to use a piece of regular, just plain blue cardstock. I wanted some more interest and more mixed media. I was having a lot of fun with my mists that day. These are the photos I'll be using. They are some gorgeous sunflowers that we see every single year when we go to our pumpkin patch. These outline the farmer's fields, so that way he knows which field has been picked already, and he's got 5 of them. So each pumpkin patch is completely closed in by this beautiful fence of sunflowers, and I wanted to remember them. We go every single year, but I love sunflowers. They're beautiful, and I got some really good shots that day. It wasn't cloudy or overcast, so that bright blue sky is behind them, and they just look beautiful. I am matting each of these sunflower pictures with this gorgeous craft colored cardstock, and it just helps to add a little bit of a border around it to make it stand out a little bit. It's not too bold, but I just wanted something soft. And so I'm going to do that for both of my photos, and I just love the earthy feel of all of the colors I feel like they played really well along with the Sunflower Fields sequin mix that I am using, which is appropriate for my photos today. I love that new sequin mix. It's so beautiful. It's got bold, beautiful yellows. It's full of different size yellows. It's got some flat confetti. It's got some cupped sequins. There's also that gorgeous leaf green as well as some wood grain, and it's just an absolutely stunning mix. And I really wanted to highlight it today using all of the colors in that mix on my page, which is why I chose the colors I did for the watercolor. I chose to use my sunflower photos as well as create that big, beautiful die cut sunflower. So I would have to say it's safe to say that the sequin mix was definitely my inspiration for today. I have been wanting to use this scrap of yellow because it's the only piece I have left, and it wasn't big enough to mat both photos completely around. So I'm going to create some really fun and off-centered and different mats around the photo. I'm just going to do a couple of corners on this with the beautiful yellow. And then that gorgeous shade of spring green cardstock you see on my desk is also going to be behind the pictures. I did alternate which corners on the photos had the yellow in them, so that way the tops and the bottoms of each photo were covered by the yellow. I'm just going to go ahead and trim them down and then get these beautiful photos backed with the gorgeous springy green cardstock as well. And here you can see the gorgeous sunflower fields mix. You can see all those yellows. You can see the beautiful vibrant green. And the larger ones are that amazing wood grain. So you're going to definitely want to head over to the shop and grab them. The link to the sequin mixes as well as all the other products I used will definitely be linked in the description box. Make sure you click the show more button so it enlarges the box and you can see everything. My coupon code will also be there, which will make going to the shop even more pleasant when you check out. But it's a pleasant experience anyway because there's so much fabulous product over there that you're going to just want to go right over there after you watch the end of the video and pick up some of the amazing stuff that Jody has in the shop. Now, after I got the green matted, I have to go ahead and trim all of it down, and now the photos are matted. I have 1, 2, 3 different mats behind it, and I love how it makes the photos pop and stand out. And now I'm just making sure that the blue is dry. If it's not, I'm just going to dab up some of the wet spots, and then I get to go ahead and start playing with those beautiful watercolored pieces that I created earlier. I am going to try to recreate the background that Brianna had on her layout, and I'm just going to go ahead and start randomly gluing down these gorgeous pieces. I'm going to bring my photos in to see about where they're going to sit so I know where to place the punched pieces as well as my cut files so nothing gets too covered up because I want to see them. So I'm just going to go ahead and play with the arrangements of the photo a little bit right here. I decided I like where they are, and I'm going to resume gluing down these punched out pieces. I'm going to work from largest to smallest, so I'm going and putting these really big scalloped circles down first. And even though all of the pieces are similar coloration, I do wind up creating my own embellishments by stacking them on top of each other, scattering them around the page. I love the one specific cluster that you guys will see in the still photos at the end. It's a scallop circle, a regular circle, and a beautiful hydrangea, and then a butterfly sitting on top of it with sequins on each of them, and it's just, this was such a fun layout to play with and create, and I just had a really good time, and I hope you guys will go ahead and give this a shot as well, because it was really fun to just get messy and kind of create a layout from just a couple of pieces of paper. That's really all that I have here is watercolor paper, cardstock. My die cut sunflower is just plain pattern paper, but it just really evoked the feel of the not only the photos but what I wanted to express through the journaling and the title that I go ahead and add in a few minutes. And as you can see, I'm just pulling in different shapes and different bits and pieces from the punched out shapes to create a layered look all around. I'm going to go ahead and just continue gluing them down wherever I think that they fit or work, and continue bringing in some of the beautiful butterflies, which do go down by themselves as well. And I finally decided that everything is looking great. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my sunflower. I like to use both a little bit of my ATG as well as my wet adhesive when I'm putting a large piece like this down. The ATG will stick immediately and hold it in place while that wet glue has a chance to set up and dry. So it is a little bit heavier because there's 4 different layers of cardstock. There's the center as well and the sequins. So I just like having that little bit of extra security with the added adhesive on the back. Now, I'm going to do the same thing with my photos because there are quite a few layers of matting behind them. I'm going to go ahead and stick them down as well, right where they're going to go. And then just continue to go ahead and play with different elements on the page. I am bringing in my Project Life pen. I believe this is the 0.5 tip. And I'm going to add a little bit of the journaling, which reads, "Keep your face to the sun, and the darkness will always be behind you. That is what sunflowers do." And this was a beautiful quote about sunflowers I did find on Pinterest, and it was by Helen Keller. And it just really speaks to me about where I am right now in my life, things that have happened in the past that I want to keep there, and just keep looking forward because tomorrow is a new chance, and just keep looking on the bright side of everything. So I just really love the way that that quote fit, and it just looked perfect for these photos. And as you can see here, everything is done. I used some beautiful green, springy green thickers to spell out the word flower, sunflowers, as well as some tiny tile stickers to spell out the words "that's what." Do. I did "that's what," and then sunflowers in the thickers, and then "do" at the end. And I just love the way that this page turned out. I'm going to mat the entire thing on a dark chocolate piece of cardstock. Add some Tim Holtz tiny word stickers all around the page just to add a little bit more to the layout. And I am digging at the layout right now so I can tell you what ones I chose. And I found it. They are: "Live gently upon this earth, love yourself first, look on the bright side, and do more than exist." So I am going to finish the layout by sprinkling some of these amazing sequins all around the page just to bring some more sparkle and texture and shine. And then stitch around the edges with some gold thread. And that will be it for today's layout. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll head over to the shop to check out the amazing sequin mixes and all of the other stuff that Jody has available. Don't forget to check my description box down below. Stay tuned for some still photos at the end, and have an amazing day.